Auld Lang Syne, the song associated worldwide with the celebration of New Year, was written down in 1788 by the Scottish poet Robert Burns, whilst trying to eke a living on Ellisland farm in Nithsdale to the north of Dumfries. The words alone are his. The tune is an old melody whose origins are unknown. Burns leased the ground at Ellisland from the Dalswinton estate, owned by the wealthy Edinburgh banker Patrick Miller, and he designed and built the farmhouse for himself and Jean Armour, Bonnie Jean. The land, however, was not very fertile, and aware that he was not proving successful in the agricultural role, he trained as a gauger or exciseman, whose duties would include travelling around the local inns to assess and collect the taxes due from their brewing, not an occupation likely to make him popular with the innkeepers or their customers. His sense of humour can be seen in his song The Deil's Awa with the Exciseman, or in English, The Devil's Away with the Exciseman, the music of which I've used in this video. Many of his best-known works were written at Ellisland, including Tam O'Shanter, A Fond Kiss, Auld Lang Syne, of course, but not, as I had long believed, to a mouse, with its famous reference to the best-laid plans of mice and men. This was written in 1785, whilst he was living and farming at Mauchline in Ayrshire. The farm, which for the more touristy parts of the year is open to the public, is situated beside the River Nith, and there is much in this part of the world that Burns would find little changed were he to visit today. However, look into the middle distance and you will see something which he could never have anticipated. My regular railway viewers will immediately recognise the old Glasgow and South Western Railway, which cuts through the estate from north to south before crossing the Nith by the Portrack Viaduct. Sadly, at this time of year the farm is not open to the public. It's many years since I last visited, and so I'm unable to show you the interior, but I did manage to capture some external shots. In 1791, after 3 years at Ellisland, Burns moved with his family to a tenement flat in Bank Street, Dumfries, then known as the Wee Vennel or the Stinking Vennel, because of an open sewer which ran down the middle of it. For many decades, the ground floor of this property has been a popular cafe. Sadly, at the time of making this film, the cafe is closed and up for sale. In 1793, the family moved up Market to a house in what is now Burns Street. This house is now a museum. The curator assured me that originally the building was clad and would have been white. It was stripped back to the bare sandstone in the 1930s. Now, everyone knows that Robert Burns was one for the ladies, and he is known to have fathered 12 children with 4 different mothers. Apart from poetry, the other passion in his life seems to have been liquor. His favourite howff, or watering hole, in Dumfries was the Globe Inn, just off the High Street. He who sits in Burns' chair is required to either recite Burns' poetry or buy a drink for everyone in the house. You may guess which I chose. A brief extract from the Gowden Loch Savannah, celebrating his activities with the Globe's serving maid, Anna Park. Anyone familiar with Burns' poetry will be well aware that his sympathies were what we would today call left-wing. He played a role in establishing a theatre in Dumfries, the Theatre Royal, now the oldest working theatre in Scotland. The French Revolution had broken out in 1789, and despite the reign of terror which it precipitated, there were many in Scotland who supported it. Following a gala performance of As You Like It at the theatre in 1792, a riot broke out between those singing God Save the King and the pro-revolutionaries singing the French rebellious song Ça ira. Burns, in the audience, refused to stand or sing the national anthem, a dangerous stance for a man who was, after all, an employee of the Crown. The years of hard toil as a farmer, followed by long hours spent riding about the countryside in all weathers as an exciseman, took a toll on his health. Probably not helped by his fondness for both wine and women, and the ailing poet was advised by his doctor in 1796 to take the waters at Brow Well near Ruthwell on the Solway Firth. The iron-rich waters were believed to have curative properties, and Burns also indulged in sea bathing in the Firth, perhaps not the wisest course for a man who was seriously unwell. Just 3 days after his visit to Browell, he passed away at home. He was only 37 years old when he died. He was buried in a corner of the churchyard of St. Michael's, Dumfries, where his body remained for 21 years before being exhumed and reinterred in the splendid mausoleum which now attracts visitors from all over the world.